Hi, Tony Bradshaw with AddSomeToYourIncome.com, and I am here to talk about not leaving money sitting on the table, taking the action, doing it, not procrastinating. I'm working through a couple of things. Number one, something I've done today as an action that will very likely bring about some income that I used to just let pass me by. I would just let these kind of opportunities pass me by. I'm going to do some stories, a couple of them, and yes, somewhat children's stories, and how they connect in with not procrastinating and doing what you need to do to be able to have money no longer just sitting on the table, but go and get the action. And I prepared a couple of quotes to throw in here as well. How about I start with one of these quotes just to get a feel for it? So if you're not moving forward and you're not evolving, you're devolving. And I don't want to go backwards. I want to be better at what I do tomorrow than I am today, said Audra McDonald. Are you moving forward on things that are coming into your life? Or do you see things that come your way and you leave them for someone else to collect the money? I love certain games where you have to make deals. One of those is Payday. I enjoy playing it with my children. We sit around, you come across a deal, and sometimes my kids won't take the loan with the bank because they don't want a loan with the bank, and they let the deal pass them by, and then their very next turn they'll land on, I found a buyer, but I don't have a deal to sell the buyer, and I could pay the bank off. When you go through life, deals are going to come at you. Opportunities are going to happen. Let me tell you about one that I have applied to today. So last week, I'm sitting in a meeting. There was someone literally falling asleep in this meeting at the same time, and I was noticing that. And I know we're all tired. It's the end of the day. It's rough. At the same time, the principal is talking about an opportunity to lead a group of other teachers in a book study. Once a month, you are leading the group in the discussion and the comprehension of a book, and it's only going to be for about a third of the year. We get to spend the first third preparing, and then that second third is when it will actually happen. So I'm thinking, okay, 3 months, 3 times we're meeting, that's about 3 hours. I'll probably do anywhere from 1.5 to 2 times as much time to prepare, so probably 6 hours of preparation. For 9 hours, there's going to be a stipend that's $600. Okay? 9 hours, $600. Sign me up. So, again, as I said, someone was literally nodding off in our meeting due to being tired. The email comes out, and when the email comes out to explain all this and ask if people are interested, I felt, even though in the meeting I was like, I can do that. I'll apply for that. That's $600, 9 hours ish, maybe 10. All right, yeah, $10, and I mean 10 hours and $600. Like, well, that's about $60 an hour. Yeah, let's do it. So when the email came, though, a different feeling hit me. The feeling of procrastinating, the feeling of not applying, the feeling of being overwhelmed, and all these other emails that have come at me, and everything else that's going with my teaching that day and my classroom. And I almost hit delete on this particular email. And I'm the person who's talking about add something to your income. This is an income making opportunity. I'm going to put in about 10 hours, get about $600, and I'm not going to apply. Luckily, there's something in my life that I have changed from when I was early on in teaching that I can recommend to you. So you got to imagine it. You got that feeling. This is an opportunity, but it's going to take work. The work that's going to have to happen to make that money. I'm really busy right now. I have a whole bunch of other emails to get to with more important things to deal with. You can imagine that feeling where you see that email and you're like, I just want to delete this. It's in my way. It's, right? That feeling comes. Here's what I've done with myself, and I recommend for you. I go to my calendar and I put a time when I know I'm going to be open to be able to do something like that, to take the time and sit down and prepare and fill out the application, which is today. So I put it on the calendar. Apply to lead a book study group. I love books. I love reading. I love learning. I like being the group lead that helps lead the conversation. I know some strategies to help chunk a book and comprehend through a book, and to do that. This is what I do anyway. Why not also do it with my peers and make some extra money? Besides, I'm gonna be sitting in a book study group anyway. What if I'm the one making the money that's extra money? Okay, it's no extra time really there. So I can almost take the 3 hours, and it's only going to be about 6 hours. I'm looking at, maybe I could even do it in just 5 hours of prep time and make it so that the money is $120 an hour, right? I'm just thinking out loud here. So I put it on the calendar, and that's what you can do. Just, okay, this time it doesn't work for me right now when the email arrives, but I do want to take this opportunity. So I'm going to calendar it. I'm going to plan my work. I sat down today. I was shocked. It was only 3 questions. It was something like name. That's easy. I've known that my whole life. And then, why do you want to lead a book study group? So I talked about how much I love reading books, and I like leading, and I have some strategies for chunking, the things I've just already been talking about, right? And the third thing was, do you have a book to suggest already? Yes or no? And I just clicked no on that because the principal in the email had said that she has a number of books that we could choose from. Okay, I applied. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I know I didn't leave that opportunity just sitting on the table. I promised a couple of stories. So I want to dive into the story of, excuse me, got something in my throat, of The Hobbit. The Hobbit. He wakes up like any other day and he's about to have a second breakfast. And that day wasn't like any other day because he'd been invited by Gandalf to go on his adventure. He finally decides to go take the adventure. He leaves, even without his hat, without his second breakfast, just finally runs out the door to go on his adventure. You see, because he realized he could procrastinate and keep living his life, or he can jump in and do it and go for it. I remember how there was the ability to spend probably 100 hours and make $12,000. It wasn't guaranteed, though. And the teachers I talked to about this, because of the way our state had decided, you put in this information proving that you are a veteran teacher. You had to also taught for 8 years, so proving you're a veteran teacher, and we'll pay you $12,000. I had a number of teachers who well, it's not guaranteed, so I'm not going to do it. I did it. I've become a better teacher because of it, because I now realize what they're looking for when they say, what are veteran teachers? What do they do? I just got news that I didn't get the $12,000. I realized something in this. I now know how to be a better teacher, a teacher that can be a veteran teacher. I now know what it is that I'm doing that are areas of weaknesses I hadn't even thought of before, which is just kind of exciting for me to improve and get better. Having this adventure, I didn't get the $12,000. I put in probably close to 100 hours, and that's okay. I'm mastering my craft. I'm improving myself. I didn't just let that money sit on the table. Hey, didn't get the 12,000. Maybe I don't get the 600. I do know I took action. Another children's story that will connect in with this thought is Jack and the Beanstalk. Hey, stock. Have you ever noticed that? Stock. All right, so let's put ourselves in this story, and I want you to imagine you're the mother, right? So you're the single mother, and you don't have very much. Your kid takes off, and he takes this thing of value and trades it for 3 magic beans. Magic beans, right? She's like, this isn't going to work, right? She chucks it out the window. Right. So someone tells you, I found the magic formula. I found the way to spend 100 hours, and it could be that you'll get $12,000, right? Well, what do you think in that moment? Do you think, chuck that out the window, not happening? Or do you actually listen? See, now the kid had discovered the true magic because the beanstalk did grow, and he goes up there. Now let's switch perspectives here, right? We got Jack climbing the beanstalk. He's climbing, so you're Jack, and he's climbing and he's climbing. It's all the hard work. He has to go up to the castle, and he has to knock. He has to be that bold, get there, do it person, right? And do the work until it's done. You might have heard during this that my alarm went off saying it's time to wrap things up and get going home. And it is. And I'm still going to finish what I'm saying and doing here. Then I'll wrap up and go home. So he gets there. All right. We get into the kitchen. He's in the kitchen. And as he's there, he's just beginning, right? Just like everyone else, we're just that starting person. We're the, as they call it in the entertainment industry, you're the opener. That first person that the one everyone forgets the name of, and then the main guy comes on. You have to start there. He makes his observations. He observes there are golden eggs, right? He could just take a golden egg. But very wisely, Jack observes that these come from a certain goose, right? There's also a harp that, magically plays music, but there's this goose. So he steals the goose, right? The second time he comes, he steals the harp. So now Mom's extra happy because she's got the goose that's making the golden eggs, and she's got this magic harp that will play anything for her. She just has to say, Alexa, play The Sound of Silence, right? Now, of course, there's a tragic ending for both the beanstalk and the giant, right? There's a total twist ending right there that, it's totally bang, hits you. And when we get there, they all live richly ever after. There's so much to learn from this children's story about money. The thing I'd like to point out is a connection to another quote, which is, if everything was perfect, you'd never learn and you'd never grow. Beyonce said that. If everything was perfect, you'd never be learning, you'd never be growing, right? You need to move forward and going and getting the money that's on the table, taking the action. I understand that, you might hit these tough spots in your life like I do, but hey, if you can get past the CAPTCHA quizzes, you can do anything. Those little CAPTCHA were like, well, what is this, a truck or not? It looks kind of like a van or a bus, right? Show up, do it, don't procrastinate. Woody Allen said 80% of success in show business is showing up. Same for you. Go for it, do it, make it happen. Try the new things. Get going forward. Don't procrastinate. I remember once we waited to wash the van and it was cold. It was December. It got later and later and later. And finally, when we went to the car wash, the place had closed because we'd all finally gotten in the van and gotten there and it was closed. When you procrastinate and let time go by, these opportunities close. Yes, I waited a little bit until it was a time that worked for me to apply for this opportunity. But I didn't procrastinate so long that it's summer and not going to be able to do this because the year's gone by and I'm going to clean out my inbox. That's another small tip for you that has changed my life. I empty my inbox every week and sometimes every day. An empty inbox means I have processed through. Knowing how to put things on the calendar to schedule for later then allows me to remove that item from my inbox. And then when it shows up on my calendar, I apply. And when I apply myself, find success. I know I didn't share very many successes of actually happening, but I'm kind of excited that this is working for me and it could work for you. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.